Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Life's Important Questions, the show that is designed to ask some of life's most pressing and urgent questions. Will Kim and Kanye stay together? That's definitely not one of them. On today's show, we're joined by the magnificent legend that is, I wish I could do a round of applause. It was like one of those echo sounds. Mr. Pete Bennett.
Hello, yay.
Morning.
Happy lockdown and all that.
Happy lockdown.
Yes.
Good to have you here, buddy.
It's good to be here, and thank you very much for the invitation. I feel honoured and privileged to be here.
You're very welcome. So I feel that the title is an absolute giveaway as to what we're going to be talking about. That's the beauty of StreamYard. You can see what today's about. But before we kind of get into the conversation of today, which is really going to be around YouTube and Pete's incredible results on YouTube, Pete, a bit like, it's going to sound a bit dating profile-y this, to tell the audience, the people that are like, who is Pete Bennett? You can answer as philosophicly or as blasé as you like. Tell us.
Well, Silla. Well, I'm a 55-year-old computer science and maths graduate who's been in internet marketing and business now for longer than you've been on the planet, Miles. Hence a few grey hairs and a few green ones due to this bad green screen. But over the years, I've built and sold a couple of companies, one 7-figure, one 6-figure company, all using online marketing. We've never really had a sales team, or at least the sales teams that we've tried have cost us more than they've bought in. So I'm very comfortable in the online space. And then when YouTube came along, which I think was 2005. I don't know. It's all lost in the
that rings a bell, that number.
Yeah. I started getting interested in YouTube. One of my employees at the time also started getting interested in YouTube, and we applied the same internet marketing techniques, which I'll go into in a little while, to YouTube. On his channel, which turned out to be the biggest channel on YouTube a few years down the line. It's just incredible. They were doing 1% of the whole of YouTube's traffic, which is amazing.
That's incredible. I've just processed that. That's insane.
It's incredible. I didn't have shares in the company. In fact, he left my company and set his own company up just doing YouTube while I was plodding on doing whatever other companies I was doing. And he sold his channel in 2018. I don't know the figure, but it's more money than you could reasonably spend in a lifetime if you try hard. He's trying hard. So I thought, well, I flogged my companies, and then I started getting involved in YouTube on my own ticket, and it's well over 100 million views now, applying similar principles across different niches. I'm just going to turn the heating off. I'm baking. You can see my luxury home here.
It's funny. It's funny.
Yeah. So
I'm the same as you. I might have to take this off, realizing I've only got my very professional New York Knicks basketball top underneath. The window in the room, just the latch on it just broke this morning. This is gonna be unveiled shortly.
Yeah, it's fantastic green screens, isn't it? I live in a right little mess of an office, but it looks like I've got a mansion. Yeah, so I developed a few YouTube channels using the same principles that we're going to talk about in various different niches. One of them in a similar niche to my friend, which is children's nursery rhymes, believe it or not. If I hear Wheels on the Bus one more time,
my word. We've got an 18-month-old, so I hear Wheels on the Bus 30 times a day.
Well, I got a Wheels on the Bus video. I think it's done over 50 million views. I think it's 53 million views just on that one video. Wow. But if I hear it again, I'll hang myself. And I almost didn't bother making that video, to be honest. I was feeling a bit fed up. I thought, I can't be arsed. But then I did, and it turned out to really go well. So there's a key lesson here. If people want to grab a pen, it's if you're thinking of doing a video, do a video. Don't just think of doing a video, because there's no prizes for thinking of doing videos.
Yes.
And then I applied that across lots of different channels. I've got one channel which I deliberately create the most boring videos on YouTube. And that's got thousands or tens of thousands, I think, now of of subscribers. No, it's got 5,000 subscribers, and I think it's 2.5 million views, something like that. And that's just, stuff like a washing machine going round and ducks swimming on a duck pond and stuff. But the reason that I did that is to prove that if you do the stuff right, then even the most boring videos in the world by design can become popular.
Yeah.
And I kind of use it when I'm doing consulting. I say, well, look, if I can produce videos which are this bad deliberately, yet they're beating the videos that you're doing for your company, then we need to talk, because seriously, you can't make videos worse than me, worse than the ones that I've done, yet mine are flying and you're not. So it's a proof of concept, if nothing else. And now I guess I evangelize about YouTube for people who are either individuals. What's the normal category? This sort of consultants, coaches,
trainers, consultants.
What in my day would have been called a one-man band, son.
Yes.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
And the one-man band analogy is not bad, because if you're playing your band, there's no point if there's no one listening, is there?
Yes.
And the great thing about YouTube, it's absolutely amazing, is that it'll give you a global audience. Blimey, once you start to get over 1,000 subscribers, it'll even pay you directly from YouTube. So you don't even need any clients. You could be a personal trainer and never actually trains anyone, but gets paid by YouTube for teaching people how to train themselves. Most other technical platforms will charge you a hosting fee for your videos. YouTube is free, and it even pays you. And it's like it's got the algorithm. This woo lady algorithm, no one really understands it, and everyone thinks they've got to beat it. Don't beat her. Get her on your side, because she's actually like a sales team that will go out if you give her the right clues and steer her in the right direction. And I can teach you how to do that through metadata. She will actually go out and find new clients for you. It's an unpaid sales team. Why are people not doing this? I don't get it. I really don't understand it, because everybody who's got one of these things, this is an iPhone 7 Plus, but most of my videos I've been done on an iPhone 5. I mean, you probably pick one up for 100 quid on YouTube, on eBay rather. Everybody's got the capability to market their business to a global community and get paid for doing so in their pocket, but they don't do it. They don't press record. That's all they've got to do is press record.
You're dispelling some really common myths here. Technology, I don't have the latest technology. I don't have my content planned out. You've just smashed through two of those straight away. So it leads me into a question which you've kind of already answered a bit, but which is like, other than what you've said, what are like the common mistakes that you see people make when it comes to building a YouTube presence, building a great channel?
Okay, I'll tell you the one thing that's going to make a difference, apart from pressing record. Because if you don't press record, it's just it's just an interesting intellectual discussion. By the way, we should talk about shorts. I don't know how long we've got, but shorts are a massive opportunity right now. Okay. I'm going to put this carefully, because I don't want it to sound like I'm being critical of anyone. But I sometimes find that people who are very passionate about something in particular only talk about what they want to talk about, rather than listening to what other people want to hear about, and then structuring their content to meet the audience's need. When I used to do a lot of speaking about internet marketing, there was one thing I always used to say from stage, and it's probably more relevant to YouTube than anything, and that's find out what they want, give it to them, rinse, repeat, buy a big house. And that's all you need to do in any business, really, if you think about it. Be demand-led, not supply-led. And it's funny, at school or at business college, whatever, they always teach you about supply and demand, which is the wrong way round. It should be about demand and supply. So find out what they want, give it to them, rinse, repeat, buy a big house, or at least get a green screen that looks like you've got a big house. But the great thing about YouTube is it will tell you what people want. So once you start making videos and get something up there where you can start collecting data, Lady Algorithm will actually tell you what your viewers and what your potential prospects want. Then all you need to do is create content that addresses that. So let's use personal training as an example. I haven't been to the gym for so long, I can't remember what the exercises are. But let's say that you do you've got no idea what people want. There are ways on YouTube of looking for demand and supply opportunities using tools, some of them paid, some of them free. But let's just say that you're not doing anything technical at all. You do half a dozen videos, one on sit-ups, one on crunches, one on bench pressing, whatever. Come up with half a dozen different video topics, and make. Here's a tip now: make a short video about each one of them. There's a particular format at the moment called YouTube Shorts, which it's possible to get traction in niches which are very competitive because it's a very new. It's a very new format of videos that YouTube have brought out to try and compete with TikTok. But so there's a window of opportunity to do short videos on half a dozen different topics. Put them up there, give it a couple of weeks, and then go in and have a look at the analytics. And you will see of those 6 videos, which of them is the most popular and how people have found them and the keywords that people are using in that space in order to get interest to find your videos. Then just make more videos based upon what people are already watching. So if if you've done one on crunches and it's gone well, do one on a slightly different variant of that exercise. Be demand led. Let your audience lead you by the hand, guided by Lady Algorithm, to generate content that people want. And it's kind of obvious if you think about it. People want to watch what they want to watch. All you need to do as a creator is give them what they're after, and your channel will grow. You can't help it. Try and stop it. You'd have to delete the videos to stop it growing. Yeah. But what most people do is the opposite way around. They say, well, what am I interested in? And then they spend lots of time, effort, and money, often a lot of money, on professional studios hiring people to produce content that nobody wants.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's really important to look at that further then. So, because I think intellectually everyone understands that. I've been guilty of doing what you've just said. How does a person who's watching, what advice would you give for them to get over themselves? Because the type of person that I know will be watching this show will intellectually understand what you've just said and will still probably go against what you've just said. What's something that you've learned that could help them get over that, so that they fully don't just hear that, but they go, I'm going to apply that now?
Yeah, and I made a video actually, which I can send you a link to the 25 reasons why people don't make their videos, and it covers lots and lots of different things. But there's one thing that most of the things that people tell you is actually encompassed by, and it's fear. So it's some fantastic procrastination devices, aren't they? I haven't got the right equipment. Yes, you have. It's in your pocket. Yes. I haven't got anything to say. Come on. Of course you have.
Ducks on a pond.
Yeah, ducks on a pond. I need the right microphone. No, you don't. What you need to do is get over yourself and press record. And here's a way to get over the fear. One of two things at the extreme can happen, right? One, you do a video and you upload it and nobody watches it. Well, in which case, what's to be frightened of? At the other extreme, you do a video and it blows up and it goes mad, right? That way you'll get feedback as to positive feedback. So, you'll feel that you're addressing people. So the fear will have been rewarded by, positive feedback, and that will give you the courage to do more and more. Yeah. If it's in the middle, then what you need to do is think of it a little bit like personal training. Is you don't go to the gym once and then come back ripped. Clearly, you have to keep going, don't you? So do one and then do another one and do another one, and you will get success, particularly if you know how to read the analytics. But I think the sort of learning that I could share is I've done, I don't know, hundreds of videos, thousands perhaps, and I've been on many interviews, and I have never done a video that I'm happy with. I've never done an interview that I'm happy with, because I always know if I could rewind the clock, I could do it better the next time. So do it better the next time, but don't see the one that you're not happy with as being a waste, because it's a stepping stone on the way to getting better. I mean, we could have done this video better, I guess. I don't know.
Absolutely.
But it's out there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, if I was to play a psychological trick, but I don't think this is unkind, but I know that I've done lots of videos in the past where I've thought that was a waste of time. I didn't get any feedback in the comments. It felt very lonely. But then on one occasion, I was up at Green Park Tube, and this guy ran up to me, and he says, "I know who you are. You're Pete Bennett. I used to watch your videos when you were fat. Thank you. You inspired me," and then ran off. And as far as I've no idea who he is. He's never commented on it and the video. But the point is, you're reaching people who you're probably not aware of that you're affecting their lives. And that's happened to me a number of times where, someone that I don't know has taken, real benefit from something that I've said, and it's made a difference to them.
Yes.
So you could almost argue, and I'm doing this gently, that by not making videos, you're being a bit selfish, aren't you?
Yes.
You're being a bit selfish because you're denying people who probably can't afford to pay you for your regular services the benefit of your experience, your wisdom, your inspiration. So if you don't get over your fear, you're being a bit selfish.
Yes.
So grow some.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Love that. What's one thing you wish you knew at the beginning of your YouTube journey that you know now that you go, I kind of would have been, hindsight's a beautiful thing, but at the beginning of your journey, I wish I'd known that right at the start before I was starting to really go heavy into YouTube?
Yeah, I would say it's probably don't get hung up on equipment. I'm a bit of a geek, so I bought I bought green screens. I bought all the professional. So I even had a professional studio at one time, and the best engagement I've ever had, the best reach I've ever had, is me with an iPhone walking around the park, walking and talking.
Amazing.
Far outstripped anything that I ever did professionally. The great thing actually about doing a walking and talking video is that by doing that, you're giving yourself implicit permission to drop production standards. Because if you're walking along and a dog barks in the background, doesn't matter, you're in a park. Of course a dog's going to bark, or if you stumble or whatever, that's fine. If you try and do stuff in a professional studio, then because you're going for perfection, you'll never be happy with it. And the audience will pick up on stuff that you haven't done quite right. Maybe you're not that confident in front of the camera. If you don't set yourself up for perfection, then you can't fail. And I would argue you can't fail on YouTube anyway. All you can do is get data to learn to do better next time.
Beautiful. Love that. Some broader kind of business questions really now. What's been your biggest kind of business failure, and what did you learn from it?
What, in terms of YouTube or in terms of general? I've got a string of catastrophes.
Yeah, I'd say in this instance, let's go off YouTube, because I think you've given some amazing YouTube stuff here that almost, I feel, if people just apply what you shared about YouTube, like, they could do incredibly well. And the danger now is if we over tell them about YouTube, then they'll just kind of go, oh, it's too much for me to remember. So I think some broad stuff now, like just anything outside of YouTube, biggest failure, and what do you know?
Well, I can tie some of them back actually to YouTube in a way, in that I had a swimming pool company in Spain, for instance. I think that would cost me £100,000 worth of stock that sat in a warehouse somewhere. I've got one hot tub in my garden, which was the clearance stuff from the liquidator. So that was a big capex that went wrong. Okay. Lots of people involved, all sorts of stuff. I had a gym that went wrong because I put another, 40 grand or something into it, and that didn't work because there was capital expense and all the rest. But the reason I'm going to tie this back to YouTube is that for most businesses that I've been involved in, and there's a string of other ones as well, but everyone has failures before they have successes, don't they?
Absolutely.
But the great thing about YouTube is literally there's no upfront cost apart from the iPhone or whatever smartphone you're using. You don't need to go and pay rent on an office. You don't need to hire staff. And God, geez, the problems that I've had with staff over the years, and I'm sure anybody that's been in business, if people would just turn up, do their work, go home, and not nick anything, then things would go a lot better. But all of the bad things that's happened to me in the businesses that I've had that have failed, they don't apply to YouTube. There's only upside. So that's why I'm going down the YouTube route as much as anything else, because you're building an asset that will continue to pay you when you stop working. So give you a pension, if you like, without you having to turn up, without you having to pay expensive taxes. And, it's international and resilient to things such as, the pandemic that we've just gone through.
Yeah.
So maybe it's an age thing as well. At 55, I don't think I've got the kahunas to go throwing hundreds of grand around again on speculative projects. I want something that's certain and that's going to work, and that will turn into an asset. But no, I've had lots of business failures. I mean, as I'm thinking about them now, they keep popping up. It's like ex-girlfriends, isn't it? It's like, oh God.
Oh no, Andrew. Oh.
Yeah. We've got a few of those.
Absolutely.
Terms and conditions apply. But yeah,
I've got a different question actually, which is kind of back on the YouTube thing, because you just said something that's just sparked. This one wasn't planned. Sometimes I feel, and maybe viewers might feel, that the social media platforms, if you're starting out and you haven't done anything really consistent on them, feels a bit like being at the horse races and like, oh, do I bet on all of them, or do I put all money on one? Or why YouTube over the other platforms that are out there?
That's a great question, actually, and there are two reasons for it. One is that YouTube becomes a repository, almost like a library, a canonical repository of all of your work in one place that's easily searchable and that grows over time. So people will know, like, and trust you because they will feel like they've spent time with you in your space, in your channel, before they even talk to you. I mean, I have a very small teaching channel that I've set up to share some YouTube tips and things, and it doesn't get a lot of traffic. I don't really promote it heavily, but I noticed over the bank holiday weekend there was a few hundred views on it. It's like I'd spoken to a few hundred potential prospects while I was having a beer over the weekend. Some of those may turn into customers, some of them not, but it's all in one place. The second reason is aligned with the first reason as well, is Lady Algorithm, which I talk about. She's out there prospecting on my behalf. No other social network has such a developed algorithm that's designed specifically to help you succeed. It will go out and find prospects for you. Second one is it pays you. I mean, no other platform that I'm aware of, and I'm happy to be proven wrong here, actually pays you for producing content. They want you're basically the product. I don't think Facebook pays you to produce videos. I might be wrong. I haven't checked. But I'm not really in it for the. I'm not in it for the social aggrandment or whatever. I don't need a big audience. I don't need adoration. I need cash, and YouTube, pays. So why not?
Which is amazing, because by not aiming for that, you've amassed the views that you have. Which I do think there's an energetic thing, isn't there? Where if sometimes you chase something so hard you don't get it, but because you've been focused on the actual point of it, which is revenue, the views have come as a byproduct of that.
There's also capital as well. So there's revenue that comes in from the advertising, and there's lots of different ways of monetizing YouTube, by the way. It's not just advertising. Advertising is the simplest one, but there's lots of ways of doing it. But also many of the channels that I'm growing now, and I've started at least half a dozen this year, my face, my voice, there's none of me in it. So the channel will grow and the content will grow. I'll get revenue from the views, but then also at the end of it, then you can sell the channel. One of my friends, for instance, at Christmas, he just sold his channel for $80 million.
Wow.
So that he can only do that because the person, this is a different business model, by the way. This is not for individuals looking to prospect to get more work as a trainer or as a consultant, whatever. This is YouTube as a business to grow an asset which provides a yield in terms of advertising revenues, and then a capital sale at the end of it, which of course you get entrepreneurs tax relief on. When you're doing 80 million, the entrepreneurs tax relief doesn't really make much difference. But if you're to sell a couple of channels for a few $100,000 each, that's worth doing, isn't it?
Yeah,
pays off the mortgage.
Absolutely. Who's been your most influential mentor in business?
I don't think I've got one. I don't know. That's a good question. I've never even thought about that.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think I've got one. I mean, I get annoyed quite often with people. I won't mention names, but there's a lot of people that just seem to talk nonsense. I mean, business ain't that hard, is it? Find out what they want, sell it to them, rinse, repeat. I mean, that's it.
I think I heard that from Keith Cunningham first via Dan Bradbury. I think.
Was it?
I mean,
it's just.
But it's no one's phrase, is it? It's
just obvious. I mean, it just seems obvious. I mean, I don't see the point in, I don't know, walking over fire or running around with a torch on my head. I mean, just get on with it. But then I've always been a self-starter to an extent because, I guess being a bit of a geek helps. I'm not that sociable, so I might as well work.
Yes. Love it. Pete, amazing conversation. Before we wrap up, I've got a bit of a quick fire round I want to throw at you. Right. Purposely just designed to be really the complete opposite of life's important questions.
All right,
life's most irrelevant questions, which I know will resonate with you because you've managed to create YouTube channels with duck ponds that have mass views. So I'm sure it will amuse you. First one, early bird or night owl?
5 a.m. club.
Love it. Sweet or savory?
Savory.
Best advice for your 18-year-old self that's PG?
Don't get married.
Best advice you've ever been given?
Don't get married. I ignored it. No, that's not true. Don't get married to the wrong girl.
Okay. Worst advice you've ever been given?
Build it and they will come. By that, I mean, they won't necessarily come if you build something that no one wants. So find out what they want. That
should definitely stay in the movie Field of Dreams, I reckon.
Honestly, I think that movie should be illegal. I'm sure that movie is responsible for more bankruptcies than coronavirus. It should be illegal.
It should just be something at the bottom that scrolls saying marketers do not listen, do not apply this point.
Yeah, do not try this at home. Yeah.
It's a make-believe movie where people walk into a field and disappear. There's a clue.
Oh, it's awful.
Dinner with 3 people, alive or dead. Who would you have?
Certainly Einstein.
Yeah.
He's definitely dead, isn't he?
Yeah.
And the actress that plays Betty out of Mad Men. I don't know what she is, but I just want to see her dresses. I think
is that Anna Kendricks?
I've no idea. I just
the red-headed one.
Yeah, she'd be lovely. Yeah. I mean, I don't think she'd be that interesting, but I'd just like to see the dress she wore.
Yeah, based on the Mad Men outfits. I think
definitely. Yeah,
that'd be pretty good. If you had a billboard, just roadside somewhere in the world, what message would you like to have on it?
Probably find out what they want. That would be it. There's probably some rude ones, but that will probably do.
Amazing. And last question, in your opinion, what do you think is the most important question people should be asking themselves?
Wow, that's deep, isn't it? That is deep. I think what it would be is what's your end destination, and therefore start with the end in mind. Be intentional as to where you're going, otherwise you won't get there. I mean, I know eventually it all ends badly and the worms come, but I'm talking about just before then.
The dash in between.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Amazing. Pete, it's been an absolute pleasure. It really has.
Fun, hasn't it?
It's been great fun. people that are watching that will want to connect with you, want to find out more, want to YouTube stalk you, where's the best place for them? Obviously, I'll put the link in the chat and in the scroll. How do they find you?
Yeah, emails buried. I get so much Viagra adverts. I never find anything, but probably Facebook Messenger.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the best way. Yeah, so my Facebook is Pete Bennett UK. Yeah, Pete Bennett UK. But I'll send you the link, or you've probably got it, haven't you? But
we'll put it in, yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, I tend to hang out on Facebook while I'm making YouTube videos. There must be an irony in there somewhere.
Yeah. Pete Bennett, it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
It's been fantastic. Thank you very much for the invite. And if there's anything I can help you with, you know where I am. I'm always here in my luxury mansion.
Luxury mansion with a grand piano. I think you should get on there after this.
You deserve it.
You deserve it. Thanks, Pete.